Are you prepared? Hi guys, I'm Shishi and welcome back to the Bubble Nest. This is episode... I forgot what episode we're on. Hi guys and welcome back to the Bubble Nest. I'm Shishi. No. Episode 2, sorry. Welcome back to episode 2 of the Breeding Beta series, and excuse the noise from my son. I have children home because it's a beautiful day in Pennsylvania and it's snowing. Hi guys, this is Shishi. Welcome back to episode 2 of the Beta Breeding series. I have one very, very important question for you, and that is, are you prepared? Sounds simple enough. Breed your beta, get some fry, grow them, sell them. But in all honesty, it's not as easy as it seems. You need to be prepared in more than one way. You need to be prepared to look after your parent fish and supply them with the nourishment that they need, not only to breed, but also to recover from breeding. And you also need to be prepared to potentially have in excess of 100 or 200 fry. These little fish have been known to produce 600 eggs in one spawning. What would you do if you had a successful spawn that produced a couple of hundred eggs that then you successfully grow out to adulthood? Are you prepared to be able to look after all of those babies? There's a lot that goes into breeding beta, and there's a lot of decisions that hopefully this series will help people make a conscious decision whether or not breeding beta is right for them. I personally have enough space and adequate housing to house a couple of hundred adult beta, and I can easily expand if I need to. But that's not the same for everyone. So my question to you is, are you prepared to be able to raise potentially 1 or 2 or 300 fry? Some of the aspects that you need to think about when raising your fry is, are you prepared with your cultures? Do you have live cultures in order to sustain the very early stages of the fry? Because once the fry hatch, they won't eat anything other than live foods, and you absolutely have to provide them. If one of your cultures crash at one of the fundamental development stages, such as a few days after hatching, which is often the hardest time for the fry, if you suddenly go to your vinegar eel culture and it's crashed, do you have a backup? Because without a backup, you're not going to be able to successfully raise the fry. For now, I'm going to assume that you have your live cultures are ready, you have backup live cultures just in case one of them crashes, and you've taken every precaution in order to make sure that you can get your fry through the first week or 2 of life. But moving forward from there, do you have enough room to sustain them? Do you have a big enough grow out tank in order to handle possibly 200 or more fry? And do you really know what it is to take care of these babies? A little fact for you is that beta actually produce a growth stunting hormone, and that's why it's very important to be able to keep on top of your water changes. And myself, I do my water changes on my fry tank every single day. Also depends on what I'm feeding them. If there's a particular food such as microworms, it's a lot more important to do your water changes then and be very, very, very careful, because the fry is so tiny. So you don't want to suck them up and hurt them. But water changes are very, very important. Now, if you have 200 fry in your grow out tank, that's fairly simple to deal with. But what happens when they get to 2 months old? When you have to jar them because they're trying to kill each other? Do you have enough room to jar them all? Do you have enough resources in order to grab extra jars should you need them? Where are you going to sell your fish? Do you have someone already lined up to take them? Do you have an online store such as eBay or Aquabid? Do you have a community that you can offer your fish to? Those fry are not going to be able to stay in those jars forever. We all know that it's not fair for fry to stay in jars. It's okay for grow out, and it's okay if you intend on it not being a permanent housing for them. But what if you get stuck with 60 of these fry? Are you going to be able to take care of them? What if you have to cull your fry? It's one of those factors that none of us like to deal with. But to be prepared to cull your fry means that you're a responsible breeder. And a lot of us, in fact, every beta breeder should be culling fry, because we, as breeders, want to produce only the best quality betas to send out into our community and offer the best that we possibly can. This promotes the breed as a whole and the species as a whole. And it also gives you a better name. You absolutely don't want to sell half-graded fish. There are many different ailments that you need to look out for, especially with fry, because as they're growing, there's a lot of different things that could potentially go wrong. And there's a couple of things that you really need to pay mind to and know how to cull your fish when needed. I personally have a flower horn. He gets some beta snacks when I'm breeding because it's quick and humane. And not only that, he gets a meal that is full of great nourishment, and it's very, very quick for the beta. He swallows them whole. So whilst I don't like having to do it or having to admit that, yes, I do feed some of my beta to my flower horn, it is essential to keep the breed going strong and healthy. I'm not telling you to run out and go and get a flower horn. You're gonna need a 9-gallon tank to sustain a flower horn. And for a lot of people, that's just not something that it's just not something that's reachable for a lot of people. There are multiple other ways of culling your fry, but it's a very real thing that you will have to do. And you will have to brush up on your skills of knowing who you need to cull and who is okay. So are you prepared to actually have to cull your fish? It's a great question, because at first I really didn't want to. One of my fish was twisted, and it wasn't that I didn't care, but I just couldn't bring myself to euthanize her. And eventually, obviously, she passed away from natural causes, and I would never have sold her. I was prepared to keep her for as long as she lived and as long as she was doing okay, and one morning she had passed away. But she should have been culled when I saw the curvature appear. Those are some of the most important things. Are you prepared to do your water changes daily? Are you prepared to deal with possibly 200 fry? Are you prepared to be able to take care of the adults in the correct manner in order to produce a healthy spawn and healthy maintenance after the spawning? Because it takes a lot out of the fish. So being prepared is not only being prepared for the outcomes, but also nursing your fish back to health. Do you have a quarantine tank where specifically you can treat that fish to make sure that there's no secondary infection, or possibly even opportunistic bacteria and parasites to get into those wounds and cause the secondary infection, which ultimately will potentially kill your fish? Certainly something else to think about. So for now, I think I'm going to leave it there for you guys. I guess I'm just going to sit here and stare at the camera because I can't think what I need to say. Oh, focus. Oh. Different ways and different scenarios that can play out when breeding beta. And there's so many different things to know. And if you continue to watch the beta breeding series that I'm creating, I think you'll pick up some helpful skills for you to implement in your fish rooms. And for now, I'm going to leave it there, and I hope that you guys have a little bit more knowledge and a little bit more to think about before actually venturing into breeding. So you guys, I wish you the best, and I wish you luck with your breeding. And as always, reach out to me. And for now, have a great day, and thanks for watching.